Hi everyone, delonewolf here and welcome back for another EVE Online video. Today's video is going to be a post-commentary because, well, quite a bit happened over a decently long period of time. I also wasn't sure if I was going to be able to make a video about all of this, but it's pretty cool. The good news is we are no longer war eligible, and this is also a very big thank you to Bechamimi, I'm going to pronounce it, who is one of our viewers who was like really a detective who has done his very best to try and locate our wormhole J114700, where the corporation was still holding an anchored POS, and because of that anchored POS we were still war eligible. But we managed to fix that thanks to his help, because he finally located the wormhole, and he actually got a connection in HiSec, just a couple of jumps away from Jita. I was actually in Jita as well at the time of receiving that message, and well, we're in different time zones if I'm not mistaken, so it was all really late night for him, but he gave me the connection. I was actually in system as well to make sure that I would find it, which I eventually did. Went there in an interceptor, just got a quick ship, wanted to go in because I was sort of hoping that I would be able to just get in system and then go through the corporation window, maybe right click Unanchor and be done with it. That was really what I was sort of hoping for, but unfortunately that doesn't work. So my next thought was, all right, I'm gonna have to be on grid. Now I had absolutely no idea where that POS was located anymore, so I had started doing the D-scan thing in order to try and find out on which planet is it, and then eventually find the right moon. But again, Bechamimi saved the day and saved us a lot of time. He mentioned that he was on the POS, he was willing to put me in a fleet as well, so I managed to warp on grid with the POS, and still no luck, because you have to be within 60 kilometers of the stick before you can manage its settings. So I wanted to play it safe because I really wanted to unanchor that one and just have that done, especially because Bechamimi was there and he had done all of that effort in order to make this happen. So I slow-boated under cloak towards the stick, and when I finally got within 60 kilometers, you are unable to unanchor the POS tower because it's not empty. God damn it, it was still full. Well, not full of fuel, but it still held quite a bit of fuel and some strontium as well. Yeah, the old POS days, it was all about fuel and strontium to keep your POS towers up and running, and so that's something that I still had to fix as well. Now luckily I was pretty close to Jita, so I quickly put an alt, one of my alt characters in the system, so that I would be able to find the wormhole again if trouble would arise. Basically did not want to lose the chance here to get on grid with the POS, empty it, and then finally unanchor it. So that's what I did after that. But then I moved back to Cheetah, and I switched the transport ship. I needed 20,000 cubic meters, and I quickly changed my Wraith so that it could hold 10,000 cubic meters, still felt decently fast. Went in there, first trip was alright, and I deposited fuel, 50 million worth in fuel or something like that, in a station in HiSec, and then I went back, and then of course, this is EVE Online, stuff like this happens pretty much whenever you do stuff that's not fully prepared. The wormhole collapsed behind me as I re-entered it in order to do the final trip, so that was still okay in my book. I quickly warped to the POS tower, and at this point the locals had noticed all of that activity, so they also started to email me. Luckily they recognized my character from the channel, so they overall were not going to attack me. At least they said, all right, we're gonna leave you alone, since it's only to unanchor the POS tower. So I felt pretty confident to just go back to the tower, empty it, and then finally I clicked on unanchor, and 30 minutes later it would be unanchored and the adventure would be done. But of course I was in that wormhole and I had no exit at that point. Now J114700 is actually a nullsec static, so we did a little bit of conversation between myself and the locals who were keeping an eye on me, and I asked if they could get me to the exit, but in my opinion I felt like they were hesitating a little bit too much, and I think that they were still not exactly sure what was happening. So I ended up not really fully trusting the situation. I went back to my alt character, scanned down the wormholes that were there. There were 2 others to unknown space, probably one that would have been 1 jump out and then back to high sec, but also a nullsec exit. And I was like, I'm going to take that risk. I'm just going to bookmark the exit to nullsec and hope that it's not too far away and that I can make my way back to high sec. So that's what I did, scanned it down, put the bookmark in my shared bookmarks, went back into my transport ship, warped to the wormhole, got through, and we were like in the middle of nowhere, 40 jumps away from Amar, 70 jumps away from Jita. But yeah, it was still pretty early. I had like 30 minutes before the post would unanchor, and at that point they actually convoed me and said, yeah, you can come in a fleet. It was a little bit too late. I'd started my trek through nullsec. But I told them basically, it's all good. I really did what I wanted to do, which was to unanchor the POS. And because I bothered you guys can just pick it up when it's finished unanchoring. It's your stick. I'll say a little bit of a sorry for like polluting their space that whole time. You know, an empty stick there, it's always a little bit annoying because you never know if someone leaves an alt behind, comes back, and they can start trouble with those things. So I said like, all right, just keep the POS. You can pick it up and it's all good. But of course, I was in the middle of nowhere, so I started trekking back. At first, pretty good, all empty, didn't spot anything. But as I got closer, like half a dozen jumps away from high sec, unfortunately, a couple of bubbles started to show up, and then I was chased by a fleet. Immediately got caught by some fast tackle. Looking at what was said in local, I think it was Chinese characters. I'm absolutely not sure on that. But yeah, super fast tackle. I could evade their first bubble thanks to the high slot, the interdiction nullifier that's there, but I made the mistake of also getting the low slot active, and so I actually think they had 3 points on me right off the bat, so I could not escape that. And yeah, we took the fast road back, a jump clone back to Jita. Well, not a jump clone, but a destroyed clone back to Jita, and I lost like 50 million in fuel and in Stront due to that adventure, which maybe I could have saved with a little bit better piloting. But overall, I'm very positive. I'm super happy that we managed to get that stick unanchored, and I got that message while I was traveling in nullsec that the corporation is no longer eligible for war declarations. So that is cool until I decide to go back into the structure business. We should be good when it comes to war decks. Another thing that I actually happen to be okay with is that I now have an empty clone in Jita, so I might do a little bit more proving grounds coming forward, because that's really what kept me from doing that at least a little bit, is that all of my clones have pretty expensive implants, so we get a free implant scrub from nullsec as well. But overall, very cool little adventure. Took just a couple of hours to get everything done. But yeah, again, big thank you to Betchamaimi for finding the wormhole. He actually emailed me over the last couple of months. He's been really trying. He apparently made that his goal to find the wormhole so that I could take down the posse. Yeah, thank you very much for all of that detective work and everything that you've done there. And yeah, thank you also to the locals of J114700 for being patient with me and actually, leaving me alone, offering me to help. Although we kind of weren't sure the whole time whether or not we could trust each other, I got done what I wanted to do, so it's really all good. And yeah, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for all of your support, of course. And as always, I'll see you next time.